What do you think about the decision to postpone that game?
I totally respect where the NBA and the Lakers organization and everybody is coming from. I just respectfully disagree with the decision.
Why?
Because I don't believe that's what Kobe would have wanted. That's all. There's no other reason whatsoever. Nobody's wrong here. If the reports are true and we're hearing that's something that Vanessa, his wife, would have wanted, of course, what matters to her outweighs everything right now. This woman lost her husband and her 13-year-old daughter. There is nobody that comes before her at this particular moment in time. So if that's what she wanted, I applaud the NBA for making that decision, because based on who Kobe was and what he meant and what he will continue to mean to all of us, I totally understand that. But barring that, just looking at the decision on its face and knowing Kobe the way that I and many players and folks in the NBA and media members and beyond, along with yourself and others, we know what Kobe. We know how Kobe rolls. Kobe would have been like, what you're doing. Richard Sherman spoke at Super Bowl week yesterday. And Richard Sherman was talking about the level of sadness that draped over his soul upon hearing the news. And, you know, I remember seeing him and Kobe participate in the softball games together in the offseason and all of that stuff. And Richard Sherman was talking about how he had to get himself up because Kobe would have said to him, what you think you're doing? Get on out there. You know, I know, listen, I do television. You know, I'm sick, I'm not in the mood or whatever. Kobe be like, so, what you doing? You get out there. This is what we expect to see from you. That's the way he operated. And as players, you know, Kyrie Irving loved the ground this man walked on. Chris Paul, you know, the president of the Players Association and one of the classiest dudes and one of the great basketball ambassadors, as far as I'm concerned, this game has ever seen. He didn't play. You know, and again, they had a closer relationship than somebody like me. As close as I was to Kobe, they had a closer relationship. They're players, they're contemporaries. I'm not on that level with them. But the bottom line is, even though they made the decisions not to play, there's nothing on this earth that could convince me that, you know, or to me could convince them, Kobe would have wanted you not to play. Kobe's instinctual reaction would have been, go out there and ball, because that's what Kobe would have done. That was his mentality. Again, nobody did anything wrong here. There's no wrong decision. But like I said, and I posted on Instagram, the one comment I made on Instagram was that I said the only problem I have with this decision is that knowing Kobe the way that I do, Kobe Bryant would have wanted them to play.
This is a question to which there is no wrong answer. If you play the game, you honor him for the reasons Stephen A. laid out. Obviously. If you don't play the game, you are also honoring him. Either way. I understand the decision not to play the game. I was very upset about this. And I didn't hang out with Kobe, but we talked through the years and texted through when I was out in L.A. And as I mentioned, I found him the smartest athlete I ever dealt with. He was really, though he didn't have formal education past high school, he had enormous worldly education and just his natural capacity. He was naturally curious. And those kinds of people are a pleasure to be around.
You say it all the time about him.
And yeah, right. You and I have discussed him many times in the past. And so I was strangely upset by it. Not that it's strange to be upset, but like, I normally don't feel that way about people not in my family. You know, even sometimes friends, because we've all lost people. And I was like, whoa, I'm taking this hard. But you know what? Sun came up this morning and my life is going on. I still have moments, day two, where I'm like, whoa, Kobe Bryant died? Yeah. And it shocks me, but my life is going on. And I think sometimes there's a tendency for people to see the media and different people reacting to a celebrity death, and it's almost like a contest to show who's sadder, right? But in this case, there are people with genuine sadness all over the world in all walks of life. And the reason I bring all this up is I want to get back to Vanessa.
Please.
Because she lost her husband and the father of her children, and her children, who just lost their father. And Vanessa lost a daughter, and the children lost a sibling. And they are the most important people right now. particularly, and by the way, the other victims and the families of the victims on the helicopter, but we're dealing with these victims because we're talking sports, and this is Kobe Bryant, obviously. They have to share Kobe with the world. They have to. There's no way. He was a citizen. You can't even say was yet. It doesn't feel right. He's a citizen of the world. And so they had to share him with the world. Even now, in the grief, they have to share with the world. This can be, the reason I think this is also a right answer, playing the game would have been the right answer, canceling is also the right answer, because this is for them. This is for the people who have their own process of grief and who have to share Kobe and the grief of all of this and the kind of ceremony of it with everybody else. But it's really their pain first and foremost. And if they needed this, then it's absolutely the right thing to do.
I honestly, I couldn't agree more. I think everybody is on point when you talk about what Kobe would have wanted. Everyone on this planet knows what Kobe would have wanted. But I think Kobe also understands, and I think at an older age, you started to see Kobe evolve to understand that everyone's not like him. Everyone can't process things like him. And that's a level of maturity that I know that Kobe achieved, I believe, later in his career and as he became more involved as a father. I'll say this. When people were talking about all the games should be canceled early on, like the first day of, and I was like, Kobe would not have wanted that. I stand by that. This game right here, I think even Kobe would understand why this game right here would be too soon for all of the people that loved him in LA, all of the people in the organization that had watched him grow up from a 19-year-old kid, 17-year-old kid drafted to where he was at the time of his passing. So I believe that the NBA is making the right decision.